All right, let's get back to it. All right, so if you saw the last photo before the video went out on part one of the video, I just had everything pinned, and I hope you could see where I sewed it. You know, just the shoulders and the sides. Don't sew the armholes, obviously, because then you can't put your arms through it. Now, I did tell you I had a boo-boo on the neckline because I totally forgot. Like, how could I forget this? Like, this is one of my most favorite movies. But anyways, I did show you the correction. So this is the dip. This is as risque as I feel comfortable for me. If you want to have it lower and wider so it shows more chest area, by all means, that's just not me. So that's as good as I'm going to make it for myself so I don't feel completely insecure while wearing this. Just some things here. I put together the this stitch here is a zigzag stitch just because chiffon, you know, it frays a lot at some, it'll start fraying at some point, and I didn't want to buy up like 4 cones of red thread for my serger because I mean it's just a costume, you know. I'm trying not to overdo these things when it comes to my simple costumes, which, you know, this costume is. So I put that together. Also, what you're going to want to do is with some of your leftover fabric, cut out like a strip on the bias, so that way because we'll need to put it here and then flip it over, so that way, you know, it'll look nice and finished, which I'll show you right now, but I'm just talking about this. So do that, and then I have both of my circles for that. So let me show you how I'm going to do that neck part with the bias strip that you'll be making, and then we'll just kind of keep going from there. Okay, so I have 2 strips that I cut out. I'm just going to combine them so that way, you know, just in case it's not long enough, I can still go, you know what I mean? I do recommend a walking stick if you're going to be using any kind of chiffon or stretchy fabrics, because it doesn't, the foot doesn't make the fabric stretch or get all bunched up. Like it just glides a lot easier, okay? So I'm just going to combine that. Cut my extra threads off. Now, here's what I'm talking about for the neckline. So right now I have it right side out. Now, where I combined it, I'm going to put that at the V, at the middle of the V in the neck. You see how it is right there? Okay. And I'm going to put the strip wrong side out, so the right sides are facing together, okay? Always have your string in the back. So let me just position this right where that V should be starting. Now that I did kind of look at this a couple times, it doesn't appear that her shirt, maybe because she's wearing it, it stretches out, but it doesn't appear that it's like a sharp V, so it is kind of just rounded, you know, it's just like that. So I'm going to sew this, let me kind of come around, with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Let me get a pin. You see right here where it's 4 on my machine, this indicates that if I put the edge of the fabric on this line, 4 line, then my seam allowance will be 1/2 inch. If I put it on the 5, then it'll be a 3/4 inch, and then this is, the 6 is 1 inch. That's how my machine is. I've seen some of the newer machines and the grid is a little more complicated, a little more detailed as far as you can get more widths, either narrow or wider, out of your seam allowance. But I have an old machine. But anyways, so I'm just going to kind of bring this around. And I'm going to go all the way around my shirt. Try and keep it edge. So I'm going to stop because I'm coming to the end here, but I have a longer piece on the other side that will meet it. So I'm just going to start sewing on that side now. So I'm just going to flip this over, meet my edges as best as I can. Okay, so as you can see, I've met it. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. So like, let me pull this out. So where my two strips meet, I'm just gonna kind of, you know, if I like just smooth it out so that way it's the length of the other side of the shirt, the actual shirt, and not the bias strips. And then I'm just gonna hold them together and pin it, because I'm gonna have to sew that part down and then just hack off the rest of this tail right here. Oops. And then I'll do a quick back stitch forward. There we go. Okay, so now it's all the way around. So what we're going to do before we flip this over is find that, where's the front? Oh, here we go. Find that V, that center V, and you're just going to kind of clip and clean up these curves right here. So this is a little thick for my liking, so I'm just going to trim it just a tad bit. And then where the V meets, I'm just going to put like a notch, cut a notch in it. So that's as far as I go. You don't want to go past that, because if you go past that black line, which is a stitch line, then I'm going to have a hole in my shirt. And the purpose of doing this is just to break up some of that tightness, so that way when we try and fold the band over, it's able to stretch, and it has, you know, movability, I guess you could say. I never have the right terms to explain myself. I just know that I have to do this. I'm the worst teacher ever. But yeah, so pretty much since you do that, and you really only want to do that at like really sharp points or really dome-like concave shapes in your clothes. So I'm going to fold this down, pin, and then I'm going to top stitch all the way around. So same thing, just kind of go around, fold down, pin, top stitch. Do that all the way around. Okay, so here I go. And I'm sorry if my fingers are all white and flowery. I was paper macheing a Fun Time Freddy head right now. It's for my son's project tomorrow, so if you have it on Instagram, you could check it out. It was my best attempt. I'm no paper mache artist, but you work with what you got, you know what I mean? Okay, so now I have this, I already have my bias tape sewn in there, as you can see, like that. I put my holes in the front and in the back. And what I did was that I put the hole like, no, I'm just fat, guys. I put the hole like on my stomach where I wanted it to be, and then I kind of just walked over to the mannequin and I like touched it, and then I pinned it in place. So this is like the right area, and I did the same thing to the back. So like, yeah, so that way it's in a good, the best spot that I wanted it to be, you know. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a quick stitch around it to hold it in place. I'm going to do that in the back, and then we can get to the hot glue gun part. Okay, so my bobbin ran out of thread, and I'm just so frustrated at this point with my machine. I'm just going to hot glue it down like this. I still would sew it down first, but you know, I'm the desperate one here, not you. You're just watching this. So right now I'm heating up my glue gun. And what I want to do is get that texture. Remember I was telling you about the texture? I want to get it all wriggly and raised around the edges, so that way it looks like, you know, it went through a hole, like there's raised parts around it, the way you would see, you know, normal cuts or special effects makeup. So let me see if my glue gun's hot enough now. Here we go. So I'm just going to kind of seal it. And if it gets a little messy, don't worry about it. Don't hot glue in your pins, of course. I'm trying to avoid mine. Okay. Let me set this down. I'm going to carefully pull this pin out. And I do have to be careful because it'll pull the circle out, and then my hot glue will be everywhere. So you got to be kind of careful on that. Just kind of straighten stuff out again. And go back. Just trying to get the strings out, okay? So let me just finish this little part right here. Okay, and I'm gonna go around this whole area again. Again, I'm trying to stay on line as much as possible, but still be kind of messy because I want it raised. So you're just kind of building with the glue gun at this point. Okay. So I'm gonna let that completely dry. And then once it's completely dry and I can handle it, then I'm gonna go ahead and take some black acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint the hot glue parts and then it'll be, that side will be ready, and then I'll repeat that for the front. And then once you've done all of that, all you have left to do, if you haven't already, is just finish the ends of the sleeves, hem the sleeves, and then just finish your bottom. You can either, you know, double fold it under and top stitch, or use a bias tape and then top stitch, however you want to do it. Or you can always just cut it even and leave it like that. Knit fabric really doesn't fray at all, or much, if any. So you could always just leave it like that, as long as you have a straight edge. And I cut mine kind of crooked, so I'm going to have to fix that when I hem it, because I am going to sew and hem it. But yeah. So let me do that, and then I'll have a photo of my outfit on a mannequin. If you catch me on Instagram tomorrow, I will be wearing it. I have my pants ready, the wig, and my shoes. The only thing I don't have is the whiteout contacts, which I could not find or even probably afford at this last minute. But that's who I am. I always put my customer stuff first, and then I work on mine, and I'm kind of just scrambling at the last minute. Oh, and while that's drying, I was doing a Fun Time Freddy for my kid out of paper mache. I'm almost done. Kind of messed up on the color, but my son's very excited. So I'm doing all of this tonight on Halloween's Eve. Have a great Halloween, everybody, and enjoy your night or day.